It's showtime, baby. Let's go. Woo!
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of my new tailgate that I am excited to tell you about. I just can't give you all the details yet. But it is going to be each and every Bengals home game at the Moorline Lager House. You guys can join me there along with some former Bengals. You can enjoy some delicious Moorline food, delicious Moorline beer, and access to the bourbon room. Gary is trying to get on, and what is it doing here? It says loading. All right, well, try it on your phone. Sorry, I'm trying to do some stuff here. Gary Miller's going to be joining us, and I'm trying to help him with the link. But we have a delicious Moorline food, delicious Moorline beer, and access to the bourbon room. I'm also going to be doing a live show there each and every Tuesday night. We'll have hopefully some current Bengals there for that. But that's about all I can tell you for right now. So we will hopefully have some more details here very, very shortly. But between now and then, try some delicious Moorline food. If you're looking for some delicious chicken wings, because it is Wing Week here in Cincinnati, check out Midwest's best barbecue. Go get you some CTB wings, some Uno wings, some G-Funk, some Grippo wings. I like the pulled pork sandwich, and I also like the chili. Whenever Tim makes that chili, it is freaking delicious. There's really not anything bad on the menu. Like I said before, you can just take a dart and throw it at the menu, and you'll pick something you like. But make sure you go out to Midwest's best barbecue. Also, if you guys are in the market for windows and doors, please check out Meyer Windows and Doors at www.meyercincinnati.com for all your window and door needs. I got them in my house. Make sure you get them in yours. Matty Meyer will show up, give you a free estimate. You can check out the Jackpot Joey Mobile. You guys talk some bagels, talk some windows. Hey, and get some new windows. Energy efficient, easy to clean, and great looking windows. Also, brought to you by Hail Marys, your ticket to the game. Right there in the heart of Shivit. They have free parking, beer specials, food trucks, all kinds of things. Check out Hail Marys, your ticket to the game. What is up to everybody in the chat? I know it's a little early. Blue Stranger in there. I got Brad in there, Michael Madden in there, and Dustin is in there. What is going on now? Gary Miller, I see him in the waiting room, and I don't see, it says it's not connected. So I don't know what's going on here. And now my mouse doesn't want to work. So, did you try the link I just sent you? Try that. So anyway, we're having all kinds of problems here right now on this Wednesday. My mouse doesn't want to work, and I can't get my guest on the show. So, because I can bring it up right here, see, and nothing happens. They won't let me bring it up. I can't bring it up. Anyway, so the title of the show today is how does Jamar Chase sitting out affect the rest of the team? And we got a couple, oh wait, here you go. Maybe Gary's on there. Gary, are you there?
I'm here. Let's see. Can you see me yet?
I cannot see you yet. You were
Let's
there.
see. Looks like I might have to allow camera. There we go. All right.
Well, hold on. At least
Come on.
We'll work on that, and I'll get your intro here. Hold on a second. We'll start over again. So we're going to have Gary Miller from former anchor from ESPN and former sports anchor from Local 12. You can at least hear him. Hopefully we can see him. If my mic works. Come on. All kinds of problems today. Come on. Now his device is not connected. Hey, there he is. I see him now.
I think I see myself.
There you go. Hey, Gary, what's going on, man?
Hey.
Isn't technology great? Oh, jeez. Long time no see, my friend. How you doing?
It's been a long time, yeah. I'm good.
Good. I'm glad to hear and talk to you. And I've been wanting to get your input on this because you've been, in this sports industry for a long time, from ESPN to Local 12 and CNN before that, I think, if I'm correct.
Yep.
So we have, you see guys hold out, and now the new thing is to do hold-ins like Jamar Chase is doing. And I got a couple questions on that. How, first of all, is, like, if you're doing a holdout, like, so the guys don't even see you, so they don't even really, they're out of their mind, they're not out of their mind, but they don't see you. This was a hold in, so he's out there with them while they're practicing, while they're sweating and working hard, and he's walking around in shorts and a t-shirt and a hat. How does that affect the team, as far as their mental state goes? Like, man, I'm out here working my butt off. Why don't you get your ass out here and start going?
I don't think it affects them that badly because this has become so common now.
Right.
With NFL teams, and the hold-in is kind of an interesting development. We're more used to the guys just not being there at all, and people haven't had, we went through it with Jesse Bates, and guys had to answer questions all the time about that. I think the design of this from Chase and his agent's perspective is, look, we're showing some good faith. We really want to play here, but we want our fair compensation. And it's really a rock and a hard place because I don't know that the Bengals have the money to put him in the same market with the guys he belongs in this year that all just signed new agreements. Besides Brandon Ayuk, who's doing the same thing, and CeeDee Lamb. I can't remember. One of them is holding out and the other one is holding in, like Jamar.
I think CeeDee Lamb is the one holding out. I don't think.
All right, so he hasn't even shown up to Cowboys camp, but it's tough because of the salary cap, and even though T was put on the franchise tag and accepted it, Higgins' $21 million is
$21 million.
A big chunk. They already paid Burrow last year. If Jamar they've already committed $21 million to Chase next year with picking up the fifth-year option. So and we all know the history of the Bengals. It's been a little bit more lenient in terms of paying people in these recent years. And I know they want to get it done. I believe Mike Brown, when he said that, bend over backwards. But again, the salary cap kind of restricts you as to how far you can go. I certainly understand Jamar's point of view in that he's as good or better than all those guys that got paid. And the other thing, Ice, is that, I can understand him sitting out.
Right.
Because you get an injury and it's all over.
Right.
And then he's making $4 million. So it's tough because this 2024 is the year, and he's going to put up big numbers. The Bengals have big plans, and with T probably gone after next year, those plans, this might be. Joe has said the window is his career. I think this is going to be one of the biggest windows that he has.
Oh, absolutely.
In 2024. So that's kind of where they're at. And I don't know that Jamar. I don't think obviously he's not going to play it all in the preseason. I don't know at what point he decides to practice. I don't think he puts on the pads and practices until some movement of some kind, some promise is made. And possibly not even until some payment is made and guaranteed.
Yeah, it could be because I've never seen. I don't think I don't remember a hold in before, to be honest. I mean, this might be the first that I can remember.
No, it's a new development.
Yeah. I mean,
it shows he's a good guy,
Yeah, right. Like, it just basically just didn't show up, which we all knew that, we knew what was going on with that. And, I mean, I understand what's going on with Jamar and why he's doing what he's doing. But with that being said, now you say you don't know if the Bengals had the money. Is a lot of it has to do because they have to put – because I think it's coming down to the guaranteed money. And I think that's the problem the Bengals have is because they got to put so much money in escrow. And, yeah, the Browns are not – poor, but as far as NFL franchises go compared to the Dallas Cowboys or something like that, they can put a whole bunch of money in escrow, which is a requirement in the NFL to do these guaranteed contracts. Do you think that has something to do with the contract of being able to have the ability to guarantee a portion or whatever Jamar wants?
Right, I do. I think that's going against what traditionally has been the family policy. Not paying people for many years down the road. But that's kind of what the current market is. And you can understand Jamar, he's good friends with Justin Jefferson, just as Joe Burrow is with both those guys. There's kind of last year was weird because last year we went through the thing of all the running backs accusing collusion because their value and now we got the biggest market ever for wide receivers because of how the game has changed. So it would be tough for me to play if I was Jamar Chase, knowing that all these other guys are making between 20 and 40 million this year.
And a lot of them he's better than.
If not better.
Yeah, a lot of them he's better than. So
right.
that's the thing. He's
better. He did sign a contract, and that is the way it's structured. He's still in a rookie deal. Mm-hmm. But there certainly is precedent for upping a guy before his rookie contract runs out. And
it used to be like
he's certainly a guy that belongs in the category of strong consideration for that.
Exactly. Now, it used to be when they came up with this contract, you got the fifth-year option, and that was first presented to the players as a reward. Like, oh, you did so good, we'll we'll honor your fifth-year option. But anymore, the agents and everybody are treated more as a hindrance, I think, because if you're looking to get paid now. Because technically, the Bengals don't have to pay him. I mean, they don't have to do the contract. He signed through next year, and I think that's where the agents are trying to flip this, going, yeah, okay, that's more of a team option now instead of a player option. Is the fifth year, so that's where I think a lot of these guys are doing this. That have their fifth year picked up, they're like, no, I want it now. Which I understand. And one thing I look at it this way, Gary, is. I mean, it stinks that Jamar's not participating, but he has a lot less likely chance of getting injured. Now, the other thing, that's for him and for the team. Now, the other thing that I was kind of curious about, because they've talked about this new offense under center and getting the ball off a lot quicker and stuff like that. How is, you would think Jamar would need time with Burrow on getting, the timing right and the steps and the routes and everything right. With this new, I mean, it's not going to be totally different than what he's done, but just with that quick set that they're trying to do this year, that I think that might put him back behind the eight ball a little bit.
I'm not too worried about that because, I mean, look how well he adapted to the Pro Bowl flag football game.
True. They're pretty good there.
The man knows how to get open.
Yeah, he's always effing open.
That's how they operate anyway.
Yeah, he's always effing open, Gary. He's always open.
Right. So, so they do a lot of freelancing as it is. They've been working together since college.
Right.
So I don't see that as a big issue. And I agree that keeping him out might be a good thing, even if he had the deal in hand.
Right.
Just to make sure that you preserve that incredible piece to your offense. I'm not overly concerned about that. And I think they have a lot of young receivers that they got to decide on, who's the Boyd replacement and who's going to make the roster. I think they have more qualified guys that belong on an NFL roster as a wide receiver than they have room for. So I think that's going to be a very strong competition. I think the thing you miss there is, but maybe because you hold in, you still get the Chase influence with these guys.
Right.
And because he's in the meetings, he's on the field when they're practicing. He clearly wants to stay here. He wants to win with Joe. He wants to win with Zach Taylor. He likes it here, but it's the only leverage he has.
Right. That's literally all he's got. I mean,
we've seen what a disaster it can be if you hold out for the whole season.
I would not recommend that. Le'Veon Bell, I would not recommend that.
The same.
No.
It was sort of justified based on his performance at the time, but he ended up throwing away the rest of his career because he was never the same, and that year off just. Well, you could say that about some other guys, but it was just pretty amazing how he fell off a cliff. So that's not really an option.
No, I would say that about Deshaun Watson too. I know it's two completely different things, but he had a year and a half off of football, and he hasn't been the same. He's not the same Deshaun Watson that was in Houston. So football players play football, and you can't just
the more we talk about it, Ice, the more I think, as much as Bengals fans don't want to hear this, that he misses a game, maybe misses that Patriots opener. Maybe misses a game or two to just show how serious this is. See who blinks.
It depends on. I hope it. I can see that. It depends on, like you said.
It's hard to see the Bengals giving him that money that these other receivers got, and may still get in the case of Ayuk and CeeDee Lamb, but that's probably the only way you can satisfy him.
Right, now we got some questions here on the chat here, and Burrow brought this up about his contract last year. Michael says, is there any chance that they restructured Burrow's contract? Well, Burrow said last year and that there was, how did he put it? There was stuff in his contract to help out with this, or however he put it. That's don't quote me on it, but that's something to that effect.
He said he was open to that, and he wanted to do whatever it took to keep guys here to win. And obviously that precedent's been set with Mahomes, Brady. So there's a door that could possibly help resolve this thing, but it's pretty complex, especially with the whole T. Higgins situation.
Right. And that's the thing too, which how does T feel about it? Because he's not going to be poor making $21 million, but he was he literally didn't have a choice. He had to sign. The thing is,
because T understands this better than anybody, because he's missed so many games.
Right. The
injury risk. So the big thing is they want guaranteed. They want the 4 years and the guaranteed $70 million clump to say, if my knee blows out and I'm never the same.
Right.
I mean, look what happened. AJ was nearing the end of his career, but look what happened to AJ Green. That one injury just changed everything. Imagine if we had both those guys. Three of them.
Oh, jeez.
But
don't make me drool.
That's how fickle these injuries can be.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I'll go back to your point about the wide receiving room, how deep it is, and I was down at practice the other day, and Charlie Jones, I think, is making some strides, and he made a couple really good plays at practice, and there's a chance, Gary, that he might be our fifth wide receiver. I mean, that's ridiculous of just the talent that's in the room alone. And now, like you said, the good thing is about this, they got Jamar Chase there, so they could pick his brain about what would you do in this situation and stuff like that. So that's a good thing. I mean, is this the most where would you rank this wide receiving room as a whole throughout the whole NFL? It's got to be at least top 5, I would think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would definitely say top 5. Certainly make a case for top 3. And the other thing, I don't know, hopefully he makes it, as a return man, because I think it's going to be tough. Even though I said we got this incredible competition and depth at wide receiver, I can't see them not keeping Trenton Irwin. With what he's contributed and what he means to the team and his versatility. So as much as I think that 5th position is kind of open, it's hard to imagine them not keeping him.
Right.
And Yosevich is in. So.
And Yosevich, they're putting him in the slot a lot in training camp, which he never played a slot. Which that slot position is to be so interesting to me. because I think when Jamar comes back, I think Jamar is going to be in the slot a lot, along with Yoshivas, along with Gesicki, and who knows, maybe Burton might be in the slot some too. There's going to be so many, because for years it was Jamar T on the outside and TB on the slot. Now we can move so many guys around that I'm very excited about the matchups that we could have for the other teams where they won't be able to match up. Because we can do 2 tight end sets. We can have multiple different guys in the slot. I mean, there's a lot of different things we can do this year that we haven't been able to do in the past just because of our personnel. Our personnel right now is off the chart, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if Burton is as good as he was at his peak collegiately and as good as they think he can be and he thinks he can be.
Right.
It's an incredible group. Could be the best group then if he in his rookie season has the kind of production that he seems like he's capable of. Their arsenal is just probably incomparable. I can't think of another team that goes that deep, especially when you add in the tight ends. And Joe Burrow has never really had a great pass-catching tight end to throw to.
Yeah, he's got 4 this year.
So you add that into the mix. And the other thing is that it's hard to quantify how much better a receiver you become with Joe Burrow as your quarterback.
Right, exactly.
It's between 10 and 40%.
Right. Yeah, go ask Hayden Hurst. Go ask C.J. Uzama. How much money Joe made them. I mean, those two alone. And our tight end room, we have 4 guys on there that all can play. And Eric, he is the one. If he's healthy, Gary, I was there the other day. He's this freaking tall. He's huge. His first catch was an unbelievable, almost one-handed over the shoulder catch. First catch at training camp, and I'm going, holy crap! If this guy can stay healthy, along with Gesicki, along with Tanner Hudson, and then you got Drew Sample, who does what Drew Sample does, which he's a tremendous blocking tight end. We got Gary. I've said this before. I think this is the most talented team that offensively that Joe Burrow's had, just because of how many guys they have and how many things. We haven't got to the running backs yet.
Right. It's funny because you just brought that up, and I thought that to me is maybe the question mark. Mm-hmm. They're going to miss some of the intangibles of Joe Mixon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And they're going to miss how physical he was as a running back. Yeah, his yards per carry and yards after contact were near the bottom of the league, but they needed that to offset and to set up the passing game, and Joe was good for however many times you wanted to hand him the ball. Mm-hmm. So they're going to get some different elements this year in terms of speed and pass catching. Hopefully a little better pass blocking.
Pass blocking, yes, that would be huge. That would be, to me, just protect Joe. Like that's the biggest thing.
I think this is a question: are they better than they were with Joe Mixon?
That's what we're going to find out. I don't know. I mean, I think they can be, because this is what I'll ask your opinion on this. I think Joe Mixon is going to go to Houston and have a great year. I think Chase Brown and Zach Moss fit this offense better. So I think there's going to be more explosive plays out of the running back room than we've had in the past. Yep. And that's not a knock on Mixon or anything. It just Mixon wasn't. This offense isn't a one horse running back. Right. It's guys who can do multiple things. Not that Mixon can't, but these guys were faster. They're going to be better pass blockers. I'm not necessarily saying they're a better running back than he is or anything. It's just that's where I'm looking at it. And maybe I'm completely wrong. I just think we're going to have more explosive plays.
I think it's going to be more diverse. I think you have much more potential, as has already been demonstrated, for breaking off the big one.
Right.
But the thing that Joe gave you, as good, if not better than anyone in the league, was the goal line.
Yes.
Joe just found the end zone. You weren't going to deny him. I'm not sure of that quality in either of these guys. Certainly not the level of Joe Mixon.
We give the ball to Mims there at the goal line. That's our goal line back.
Yeah. I don't know why more teams don't do that.
Or
at least lead with him, right?
Yeah. At least lead with William the Refrigerator Perry. I mean, dude,
right.
We used to do that with Davide Pecco. He was our lead block sometimes down there. They put him in there. So, yeah, I don't know why they don't do that more often. But, I mean, I said that tongue-in-cheek. But, I mean, honestly, Trent Brown hasn't actually fully participated in practice yet. Which, like I said, there's been a lot of talk. 2, 3, 6, 8 guys, it's huge. There's been a lot of talk here, not here lately, but before the season or training camp started about Cordell Volson, and maybe they can move Mims to guard, or they can move Trent Brown to guard. I'm like, look, Trent Brown, I think it's a very good pickup. Trent Brown hasn't been healthy in the last 4 years. Right. He hasn't missed the whole season, but he's missed games. So for us,
he's available.
Right? Yeah, you need Mims to be available when Trent Brown's not. Or vice versa, because I mean, right now Trent Brown's not available, and Mims is playing, all the first team snaps. So I don't know. There's a chance. You never know that Mims outplays him, and Brown's on the bench until somebody gets hurt. I don't know.
Or gets traded. That's where again some of this moving this money around could come into play with other options that you can do to try and figure out how you can keep your centerpieces, where you might be able to spare some, because Brown wasn't cheap. No. I know it was 1-year deal, which is appropriate, but, Mims has got a chance to be, it's similar to what, I just think that was such a dark horse pick that could turn out to be such a blockbuster.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I like him infinitely more than I like the Miles Murphy pick.
Right. I'm with you on that.
What's the latest on Miles? I know he got nicked up.
He got nicked up. I think he's okay. I haven't heard anything other than that. I mean, they're not at practice today, so we probably won't hear a whole lot.
We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Sam Hubbard is still nicked up, but he's walking around. He looks fine. So I know, and Trey Henderson, he's a little nicked up too. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're more cautious than they were before because of what happened with Joe last year, especially with Joe, but also with everybody else too. But I want to get back to the offensive line here real quick, and we were talking about the money that we've got to pay Jamar Chase and other players moving on in the future here. And I've said this before, and that they got to get some of this money off of this offensive line. I would not be surprised next year if they draft another offensive lineman in the first or second round next year. Because I know they extended Ted K, but Alex Kappa is up, I think, at the end of this year. Orlando Brown's got 2 more years, I think. So you got guys that their contracts are coming up, and with everybody, all the skill players that they want to sign, and they're going to have to sign, I see them taking money or trying to. I'll put this way: the plan would be the draft for the offensive line, which the Bengals have sucked at for the last couple of years, but trying to replace some of these guys on the offensive line, with younger, cheaper guys, so they have more money for the star players that they got to pay.
Yeah, it's Mike Brown says every year at that summer luncheon, you can only feed so many. So many
pieces of the pie.
The prof.
Yeah, exactly.
When you've got it's weird, but that's the problem with having a top 5 quarterback, top 5 receiver. Higgins is, top 20 probably when he's healthy. And
when he's healthy, he's top. Yeah, when he's healthy, he's top 10. He just has
well, he certainly got $21 million. He's one of the top 20 paid.
Absolutely.
Wideouts. So it's tough. And yeah, you mentioned the veteran lineman, and then Brown. That was a huge contract that they gave him. And the other thing is it's just like life in general. You got to get value for your money. And when you put up big contracts and the guy is getting paid for what he did before and isn't still at that level, then you got problems. And
or you overpay a guy like, in my opinion, the Miami Dolphins did in Tua. The Tua is good, but I don't think he's $50 million good. I mean, he hasn't won anything yet. He don't play good in the snow. He hasn't won against any big games, ever.
Right.
Last year was his first healthy year. I mean, that's a lot of money to pay him where, to me, he hasn't proven anything. I would rather pay T the money that he wants instead of like the Dolphins did pay Tua. I think T's a better bet than Tua is, to be honest.
Right, but Tua is more essential to them.
True.
Than T is, and it's it's the quarterback.
Yeah.
Where they are slotted by position, those things are set, and the agents don't budge a lot on that.
Yeah.
But it's weird how those things get reset. When a guy gets the highest paid like Joe was last year, it can last anywhere from a day with the wide receivers this offseason to a week, or it certainly doesn't usually last until the following season that you're the highest paid.
Oh, yeah.
You set the bar for the next guy, which is kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
To get all full circle back to Chase.
Mm-hmm.
He was waiting for his pal Jefferson to get paid. He's
Absolutely.
waiting to see what Amaz St. Brown got from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Those bars have been set now.
Yeah.
If Ayuk gets signed, now what happens if one of these two guys gets signed? And I don't think Jamar's playing.
Right. Well, that's the thing, Gary. That's where I'm like, why won't the Bengals, which I don't know, we're not behind closed doors. They might be negotiating. I mean, Mike Brown said they were bent over backwards to try to get this done, but he didn't see it getting done before the season. He also said that too. But the thing is that
it takes time.
Right. Why wait? Like, why? Because the more guys sign and the more they get paid, the more
go up.
Right. That's where I'm like,
I might hurry up. Sign him now. You could be saving money.
Right. That's kind of what I've been saying. I'm like, get him signed now, and then the next team can go past him.
That again gets back to the bank.
Right.
What do they have? They got to complete a roster, and the pigs at the trough. But it's tough when you got a guy who deserves to be one of the highest paid players in the league. He doesn't want to play for $4 million and risk an injury. Jamar's had a few injuries too. So
yeah.
And plus, he's double teamed all the time. They love to get physical with him at the line, and he doesn't back away from that. So that makes him even more prone to getting hurt or having a cheap shot taken or whatever. So I certainly understand his point, and I think it's a real predicament. And I know Zach Taylor's trying to play it off, but it's real.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. It's all real. It's there's half truth
we got
to
an
everything.
exhibition game tomorrow night, so that's
the
preseason starts. I know that's quite a bit ahead of the rest of the teams, but
we're not too far out. Yeah, we'll be playing the Buccaneers here
tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be playing the Buccaneers here. What, 2 weeks? I think that's when the first Bengals preseason game is.
Yeah,
I think that's right. So it'll be here before you know it. So it's
ice is something we're going to have to watch, but I don't see a break. And again, Jamar's position becomes this isn't getting him a lot.
No, and that's where I honestly
they're not going to work him hard anyway. He's already talking about giving him days off.
Yeah.
He's not likely to play in the preseason anyway, except for maybe one series near the end or the next to last game. So the real thing is going to be end of August, early September, Labor Day. Where are we at then?
Right. See, that's what I've been saying. I say I'll start getting more worried when we're like 2 weeks out from the season. If he's still not participating, then I'm like, oh shit, that's not going to be good.
I'll be surprised if he is.
I see.
I don't without some.
See, for me, I mean, like
some movement from the Bengals, he ain't taking that hat off and putting the helmet on.
He has put the helmet on. He's taking catches off from the judge machine, so he has done that. But which I know that doesn't really mean anything. But for some, like I said, maybe I'm looking at stuff through orange colored sunglasses. I think he's going to eventually. Joe's going to give him the look like, dude, get your ass in here, and he'll be like, all right, let's go, because they know this is it. I really think those three know that this is the last.
They must know, right?
They know it's the last time they're going to play together. And I was talking to some of the guys down at training camp this week, and I'm like, they're like, you think you're going to sign T? I'm like, no. I said, I hope they're going to sign Jamar. I said, no. I said, honestly, I said, there's a very good chance that this is T's last year, and I hate it. I love T Higgins. I said, but the thing is, they could tag him next year. I think there's a better possibility of tagging him and trading him next year. But but those three together, I think this is it. And that's where I'm like, they came in, they all had their hair cut short and everything. Which if They planned that. I don't care what they said. They all planned to do it. Like you don't. Especially Jamar and T. You don't grow your hair out as long as they did, unless you're going to cut it off for something important or solidarity or something like that. So that's where I'm hoping. Like I said, maybe I look at stuff through orange-colored sunglasses too much, but I really do think Jamar will be there game one. I do. I that's just something that because if he was like dead serious about it, he wouldn't even be here. I mean, not that he's not dead serious. But he is showing up and he is participating in everything except practice. So that's where I'm kind of, maybe I'm just.
Well, he's got to see some movement on that part.
Right. Hopefully he is. Hopefully he is.
That's, it's the old who's going to blink.
Exactly. Now, one thing I do want to, I want to go back to some of your old ESPN days here on your up close segment. Who are some of who was your favorite guest you ever had on there, or do you have just one, or do you have multiple ones when you're on there?
It's funny because when I get asked that, it depends on which show I remember.
How many did you do? Do you remember how many you did?
Well, 3 years of 5 days a week. So,
hey, I know what that's like. I've been doing this for six years and 5 days a week. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
But I remembered somebody had asked me, and my son asked me sometimes. And I realized the last time I told him some of my favorites were that I had left John Wooden off.
Oh.
And John, somehow I'd just forgotten about, but he made such an incredible impression on me. And there was a green room when we were still taping in Hollywood near Sunset and Vine. Mm-hmm. And I would get like 20 minutes with the guys before we went out to the set. So I was telling him I'm originally from Chicago and he's an Indiana boy, and we just talked about that, and then all of his incredible influences on how to live your life. I was still able to interview him a few more times because I was working in LA and covered UCLA, and he would be in his seat all the time at every game. He had that same seat at Pauley Pavilion that he always sat in. So he'd be up there, but it depends on. That would be the one I probably respected the most or got the most from, but no, the funniest was definitely Bob Uecker. Giggling, and that was probably one of my favorite times. For the last segment we switched seats, and Uecker hosted an interview.
That's awesome.
So it's good, but I had known him from before, and I'd known how hysterical he was. Yeah. And he's game for almost anything. Goose Gossage was another guy who was a lot of fun. It's funny. This says a lot about Cincinnati, but we did not have a lot of Cincinnati people on there, either because the teams weren't doing well, or but until Griffey came back, the star power wasn't there, because what the setup was that you would get whoever was in town to play the Angels or Dodgers, right? So or the Rams when they were there, and the Raiders before they moved back to Oakland, and now Vegas. But yeah, it worked like that a lot. Or it would be the Tuesdays for the off day in the NFL, and those would mostly be satellite. Right. Or we'd fly somebody in. So those were the best. And then the toughest was Jim Brown, because he had just been on with Larry King after the incident with his wife, where he took a shovel and broke the window of the car. And supposedly he says, and he was asked about this on Larry King, that on her 911 call, it sounds like she's saying he threatened to kill me. Right. So I made the mistake of saying, well, let's listen again.
Wait, with Jim Brown in there?
Oh yeah, right.
That's gutsy, Gary.
It was the most, and our producer kept saying, go to commercial. And I said, no, that's going to look. So, and then we did the whole show. Yeah. And the whole show, he was, I think finally by the last segment, plus there's the commercial time you got to build in, that you don't actually show, but you got to sit there. So, and then the producer came out and he was trying to mollify things and whatever. But so it really sucked, because I had, and still do, and now it's the late Jim Brown, admire him and still thought, even though I'm from Chicago and Sayers and Peyton are way up there for me, Jim Brown is the greatest running back that ever lived.
I'm a Bengals fan, and I
that was tough. But it's tough to just sit across from Jim Brown. Period.
He's intimidating.
I mean, he is the most intimidating guy I think I've ever met.
Yeah. Yeah, he
and then he's pissed at you.
Yeah. yeah, exactly. Like
so,
he's intimidating.
There's the gamut of you. And I'm sure I'm forgetting. Another one that was a favorite of mine. It's got a Buckeye connection.
Okay.
Richard Lewis came on.
Okay.
He's a big sports fan too.
Yeah.
And unfortunately at that time there was no Curb Your Enthusiasm, so he didn't have those stories to go over with him. But he had because he was a famous Buckeye alumnus, he had one time dotted the I.
Okay.
At a Buckeye game. And that was still called that with all the things he's done. Called that one of the thrills of his life. And here's this guy, I don't know if it was Brooklyn or Bronx that he's originally from, but ends up at Ohio State and ends up, this Jewish comedian. It's kind of incongruous, but that was another one. Oh, and when we got to interview, if they did a sports movie, I had a good friend named Jeff Friedman who worked with Universal in some of the studios, who would set up the guests to promote the movie. So Denzel and for Remember the Titans. And I guess my favorite was, because I think he's the greatest actor of all, is Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
So you get to sit down and talk to Gene Hackman about Hoosiers.
Yes, that would be awesome.
It's great.
That's the first movie. That's the first movie that comes up. How much Norman
are you? Mm-hmm. I found out because he's pretty tall, especially for the age.
Yeah.
He was at the University of Illinois. He was playing basketball, but he got kicked off the team for some, disciplinary or bitching at the coach or whatever. Right. I don't know what he did, but it's those kind of things really stood out because I'm a huge movie fan and music fan. We didn't get a lot of music. It's funny because I remember I tried to get them to, and I wasn't a big fan of his or anything, but I knew he'd gone to all the Laker games, and I said we should get Snoop Dogg on here.
Yeah.
And he had not done Jimmy Kimmel or any of this stuff yet. I said, we should just get talking. He's the Lakers, Raiders. I mean, and now look.
Yeah,
he's broadcasting the Olympics.
Right, exactly. He brought the torch in. They let him run the torch in.
God.
Snoop Dogg has made such a 180. I've been a Snoop Dogg fan since I was in high school, so I've always liked him. But from where he was, the gangster rapper and all that stuff, to now he's an icon now. Your grandparents know who Snoop Dogg is now.
You can't miss him.
No, you
can't go to the grocery store.
Right, he's everywhere, man. It's funny. That's good on him, though. I mean, that's good. So what was the so we did up close. Excuse me. When you do it Sports Center, did you ever have any Dan Patrick moments where he got by Howard Stern on the whole Bartman thing? Did you ever have anything like that?
No. It's funny. I had forgotten about this, but I guess because my son actually told me this, because probably one of his friends told him about some guys have all the fun.
Right.
The ESPN book.
Yeah.
And I told a couple of Dan Patrick stories in there. And I had forgotten that he had put this in the book, but Dan and I, did you read the book?
No, I have not read the book.
All right. There's a couple of really funny Dan stories in there, but this is pretty gross. But we were like fraternity boys or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Talking sports every night, but we would drop bombs on each other and see if we could get the other guy to break up. He was more of an SBD, and I was more of a did they hear that over my mic sort of thing. So.
Oh my goodness! I'd be like, "What's that smell?" Yeah, keep reading. Oh my God!
Yeah, thankfully, hopefully, it'd be in a VO so they wouldn't see your face.
Right, exactly. Oh my goodness! And they always bring up the clip of you. I'll credit you where you couldn't pronounce the baseball player's name. Is that?
Oh, the soccer.
Right? Soccer. That's what. Yes, the soccer. Yeah. Yes, that is whoever spliced that together. I laugh every time I hear that. It's so.
That was the greatest edit job of all time.
So how long were you at ESPN?
Well, I was the whole '90s in studio. Then went to Up Close in LA in '99.
Right.
And then we started doing them from Disney. Remember the old ESPN zones?
Oh yeah.
I don't know why this failed so badly, but they, for a while they were the best thing in the world. And
I always wanted to go to one.
Week
Yeah.
From wherever they opened, whether it was Washington or Chicago or the various one, Atlanta during a Super Bowl when Ray Lewis got in a limo.
He loved
the whole week of Up Close that week.
Did you ever interview him, Ray Lewis?
No, amazingly enough, probably because of that.
Probably.
Actually, no. Wait, did I? No, it wasn't Ray, but I remember it, and I've just told my brother this story the other day. When they were in Tampa and won the Super Bowl, the Ravens, we had Siragusa, and I forget who the other lineman was. But Tony Siragusa was one of the biggest clowns, cards, funniest guy, personality.
I hate the Ravens, but I liked him.
They had going into that week, they had been told, you guys can go out and have fun or whatever, but you can't go to Mons Venus, this adult entertainment club.
Yep.
And then this is before cell phones and everything in 2000. But somebody spotted them, and that got picked up, and somehow it got reported that they had actually broken that rule and gone in there.
Shocking.
And so I forgot how I stealthily tried to bring it up. But Siragusa started laughing, and he goes, "Oh, you don't want us to bring up Cleveland, do you, Gary?" Okay, we'll move on.
Right, never mind. Moving on.
So he must have been ready.
Oh yeah. I don't have any doubt in my mind the Goose was ready.
I thought he was a great. He started that sort of getting that personality and being in the end zone and stuff. I used to love the stuff he did.
Yeah, I hated him as a player because I played on Raiders. But I mean, interview wise, and after he retired, when he was on TV, dude, he cracked me up. He was funny. I liked listening to him a lot.
Yeah,
and he was definitely a character. I mean, that would have been an interesting story if you could have got him to tell the whole story. That would have been interesting. Gary, well, I appreciate you coming on, man. I miss you on TV, man. I hope we'll get you back on somewhere sometime soon. That would be great.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm enjoying this. I'm moving my daughter back from Ohio State on Friday. She's working at Cincinnati Children's come Monday up in College Hill. So I think I'm going to be a driver.
You're gonna be an Uber.
I'm gonna be Uber, dude.
You're gonna be Uber.
So we're gonna 8 to 4, so I'm gonna have to start getting up early.
Well, I like I said, I hope you are enjoying your semi-retirement. But like I said, I like to see you back on TV because I miss you. So.
Oh, thanks a million.
No
it's
problem.
Always fun being with you.
Hey, Gary, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Hey, like I said, I didn't even know. I was telling Kevin, I didn't even know you're still in town. I didn't know if you'd move back.
Well, yeah, I still got family here, and like I said, with my daughter getting this job, now we're kind of
stuck
her
here.
Get started in her career. She just graduated, so
well, good. Then
we'll see how this goes.
I have to get you on more off of that. Now I know that you're here. So,
all right, I'll try to keep up with stuff.
Sounds good, Gary. Take it easy, man.
Care.
See ya. Bye. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Gary Miller is awesome. Like I said, I always enjoyed him when he was on ESPN, and I really enjoyed him when he was on Local 12 because I still remember the day I found out that Local 12 had Gary Miller. I'm like, what? Like, how'd they get him? I'm like, that's like a pretty big get. So I always enjoyed Gary Miller. So I hope you guys did as well. Thanks for joining. I mean, dude, we got 221 people. That is awesome. I appreciate you guys doing it because I did start the show early because Gary has stuff going on around 5 o'clock, so you can say come on at 3. Like I said yesterday, I was hoping I'd get Travion Williams. He's kind of busy. It's his off day. Maybe he just wants to chill. So I'm still working on it. I got feelers out there. You know me. I'm always hustling, always working, trying to get Bengal players and stuff on. But anyway, thanks for watching. I've been live streaming on ZTV Online, YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch. You can follow me on all those along with Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. And as I keep saying, I cannot wait to give you guys all the details, but I will be doing a tailgate at Moorline Lager House each and every Bengals home game. along with a live show every Tuesday. There's going to be former Bengal players there. There's going to be delicious Moline food. It's going to be a party. I'm going to be hosting it. So, it's going to be loud and proud and West Sided out because I'm going to be there. You get access to their bourbon room, their new bourbon room, and their beer. It's going to be an awesome, awesome time. Between now and then, please go down to Moline Lager House. Check out some of their delicious food and beer. And, as always, this week is Wings Week. If I can spit that out. Wings Week. Go out to my friends, Tim and Nicole at Midwest Best Barbecue. Get you some of the newest wings, the Dillinator wings. Check those out. You check some of the CTB wings out, the Uno wings, the G-Funk. Like I said, I say this all the time. Throw a dart at the menu. I guarantee you're going to like something. Tim and Nicole are great people. They're Bengals fans. And they're my friends. So I very much am happy that they are a sponsor of the show. But make sure you check out Midwest Best Barbecue. Also, show is brought to you by Meyer Door and Window at www.meyercincinnati.com for all your window and door needs. I got them in my house. Like I always say, you should get them in yours. They're energy efficient, easy to clean. Matty Myers will show up to your house at the Jackpot Joey Mobile. You guys talk some football, talk some windows, and have a great time. Again, Meyer, window and doors, and more at www.meyercincinnati.com. My West Side Peeps, go check out Hail Marys, your ticket to the game. You can go watch the Reds win, hopefully 3 in a row. It's right there in the heart of Chivets. Free parking right across the street. Beer specials, food trucks. Just an awesome, awesome time there at Hail Marys. Again, right in the heart of Cheviot. Look it up. It's Hail Marys. It's your ticket to the game. All right, guys. You have a wonderful day. If I get my mouse to work here. There we go. Tomorrow, who do I have on tomorrow? I do have somebody scheduled tomorrow. Tomorrow is... oh, yeah. That's right. I got Harrison the comedian on tomorrow. He is one funny mother effer. If you ever don't know who he is, you just follow him on Harrison Comedian. He's been on the show multiple times. He's a huge Bengal fan. Like I said, he cracks me up on Instagram and Facebook with all his videos from the car and everything. I've seen him on stage. He's an absolute blast. So make sure you guys check out the show tomorrow. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, share it out with your friends. And other than that, that's just sports, baby. See ya!